welcome to
Book Club.
Turning pages, sparking conversations.
Okay.
Yep. Meet your host. It's your boy Gino, King Gino. I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Hey y'all, I'm Jalen.
And we're back here with our book Understanding Marxism by Richard Wolff.
Great book.
And we're going to finish it out today, chapters 4 through 7. Short read, really good read. Was able to get a lot from it. But very straightforward and simple, which is, we love that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. Our guiding question for today is, if capitalism keeps breaking, why do we keep fixing it instead of replacing it? I think it's a valid question.
It's a great question. So, Richard Wolff, he's the author of this book. He was born April 1st, 1942. Happy early birthday, Mr. Wolff. He was, his hometown is Youngstown, Ohio. He went to the Ivy Leagues, dang near all of them. Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. And so his focus was on Marxian economics, political economy, and international affairs.
And he wrote all these amazing books, as well as the one we're covering today.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start off with some definitions for this presentation. Egalitarian.
So it's an adjective, and it means relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
Right. So equality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Commodity.
It's a noun. A raw material or primary agriculture product that can be bought and sold, such as copper or coffee, can also include humans and labor.
Right. So we talk about the commodification of humanity, right? We're just cogs in a machine. We're just input, output. We're just like a natural resource for capitalists to use, which is problematic, for sure. Buying and selling people, problematic. We've seen that. Yeah. And where have we seen that? In our historical systems. Master, slave, and remember the key point of these slides is that the surplus goes to the master. So we're figuring out the two class distinctions, and where does the surplus go?
Next, same thing. We have the lords and the serfs. The surplus, the rent, it goes to the lords.
Right. And
Think
then,
of like Game of Thrones.
Right. And then our current system that we're using, the employer-employee system, and the surplus, now in the name of profit, goes to the employer.
And unfortunately, a lot of us can relate to this.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the employers a little bit.
So employers will always seek to reduce wages and lengthen work time. What's the goal? To get as much work as possible for as cheap as possible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what does capitalism produce? Well, two things. It's really good at doing two things. One, it's good at creating massive wealth for a few people, and it's also great at creating massive poverty for many.
Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as a middle class, rich or poor. You see, you got the tombstone, middle class is dead. It doesn't exist. It never existed.
It never existed, and it was really just a way to divide the working people, the proletariat, the employee class. So, and we'll get into some of the positions of the middle class, right? And it really comes down to two types of laborers, productive versus unproductive laborers.
So who are they? For capitalism to reproduce itself, it requires performers and enablers, productive and unproductive laborers, but that doesn't mean their differences do not matter.
So a productive laborer is the person on the ground actually putting the things together, the people actually doing the work, the hard labor. So manufacturing, agriculture, mining, construction, and service industry jobs like hotel staff or transportation. Think of the sanitation workers, the people that are actually doing the work. Mm-hmm. Now, an unproductive laborer is the manager who controls and maneuvers the productive laborers, but is not one of them. So, somebody who supervises, somebody who, makes the schedule, but they don't actually get their hands dirty. They're not actually doing the productive labor. They're sort of organizing the labor and enabling enabling the capitalists to make their money, to make their profit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What do they do?
So you have the productive laborers. They create marketable commodities or surplus value. So you see right here, there's people in the warehouse. They're actually making the products.
Mm-hmm.
And the unproductive laborers, they perform work that doesn't create surplus value or directly produce goods, but instead consumes the revenue. It's like, I'm sure we've all had a manager or a supervisor that just seems like they're not doing anything. They just sit there, and sometimes micromanage.
Right. And that's their job. Their job is literally to not work. Their job is to manage the work. And in the whole operation, they sort of consume the revenue that's generated by the productive labor. So the money that the value that the productive laborers are producing with their work, a portion of that value goes into unproductive laborers to manage or, micromanage or pretty much control the productive laborers. Let's talk about greed a little bit.
So, greed. The system demands competition. The greedy and the selfish are rewarded by the system. Even a kind person becomes ruthless trying to survive.
Right. The system itself demands competition and sort of forces people to be greedy. And people who are greedy do well in a system that promotes selfishness and greed and all that terrible stuff. Let's talk about cooperatives.
So a cooperative, co-op, I'm sure y'all have heard that word before, is a member-owned, democratically controlled business, enterprise, or organization designed to meet the shared economic, social, or cultural needs of its members. It operates for the benefit of its users rather than maximize profit for external investors, pooling resources to offer better services, goods, or employment. And up here at the top, I didn't even know some of these were co-ops. They're brands that I see all the time. We got Purina, Welch's. We love Welch's. Ocean Spray, Land O'Lakes, the butter, Blue Diamond. They make peanuts. So it was really cool learning about these companies who are co-ops.
Yeah, and the main difference between a cooperative and a corporation, so to speak, is it's sort of by the people, for the people. So the people that work there, the productive laborers, they actually own the company. They're not just working for somebody who owns the company. They actually own the company. So one, they're more invested because they get to see their profits. That value, that surplus value, is distributed among the actual people who create it. So it's a much more democratically ran business structure. Democracy in the workplace.
So we have Mondragon, Spain, one of the largest co-ops in the world.
Yeah, and it's doing pretty well as a company. And in Emilia Romagna, Italy, 40% of the businesses are worker-owned. So it's sort of like the worker co-op capital of the world right now. And they're doing pretty well too with their cooperative structure.
Shout out Amelia.
Right. And it's just like, yeah, if I was able to see the profits, yeah, I would want to work harder. I would want to be more productive because I'll be able to experience and enjoy the fruits of my labor. Mm-hmm. So we got some discussion questions.
So do you agree that greed isn't the problem, the system is? Why or why not?
I think greed is a problem, but it's not the problem. And the reason why I say that is because capitalism is a systemic societal problem, and I don't think you solve societal problems on an individual level. So people's individual greed, I don't think it matters, but the system itself would even turn a person who's not greedy, but they want to be successful in the system, it'll turn them greedy because that's what it rewards. You got to keep up. You got to compete.
You got to play the game.
It's kill or be killed, in essence. So,
yeah, I agree with what you're saying. In this capitalistic system that we're in, it's like you kind of have to be. You don't have to, but it's like that's what comes with it if you want to survive. Survival of the fittest.
Right, and I think that's a bad system if it's producing greed. I think the system itself produces greed. Yeah.
Have you ever had a manager who seemed to do nothing while you did the real work?
Every single job I've had, there's always been a manager who's sitting there
Doing nothing.
doing nothing. And then after a while, when they've been in that position for a while, they lose touch for what's actually being done.
Yeah.
And they're sort of out of touch with the actual production and the actual labor. And that's why, like, top-down structures, it just never makes sense, because it's like, how are you going to tell me what to do when I'm doing it? And it's like, the experience of doing it, you're learning from it. So good managers get feedback from the people under them, but it's still just a stupid system to me.
Yeah. Every job I've had, I had a manager who did nothing. One of the jobs I had, the higher ups would come down and would be acting surprised when we would tell them our experiences and stuff. All they would do is just do PowerPoints and meetings.
Right.
On, what is it called? Zoom. Y'all know the platforms they do.
Microsoft Office.
Yeah, Microsoft Office. Like
Teams.
all they do is press the next button. Had no idea what was actually happening.
Right.
Yeah.
If your workplace became a democratic cooperative tomorrow, what would change? Well, a lot would change where I work. I work in a laboratory, a very big laboratory. People would definitely want to stay at the company more. Every single person at the lab wants to leave the lab. They hate this company. I'm not going to put their name out there, but LabCorp. And yeah, a lot of people are trying to get out. People are interested in unionizing. If it was a cooperative, people probably wouldn't want to leave as much, because there's a lot of profit being made. So people would want a piece of that profit, and to enjoy the fruits of their labor. But it's definitely not set up like that. So I would think you'd have significantly less turnover, which is one of their biggest, I wouldn't say their biggest problem. They probably don't care. But the turnover would be way less than what it is, for sure. What about you?
I'm in the school system. I'm a substitute teacher. So if it ran like a co-op, the teachers would come together, the bus drivers, custodians, everyone in the school system, like, they would get paid what they deserve. And schools would probably change. Kids would probably be excited to come to school and learn. And a lot of things would change. There probably wouldn't be any Chromebooks. I think it would go back to just actually learning, like how it was when we were in school. Like not one-on-one, but kids respecting the teachers, kids being excited to learn, reading, things like that. And the teachers would be more in charge of the curriculum that they're teaching.
Right, for sure. Wolff's words helped you name something you've been experiencing. What was it?
Slavery. Capitalism.
Right. For me, yeah, it definitely helps make clear the division of classes. Okay, lord, serf, master, slave, employer, employee. Not much difference between them at all. The surplus, the value goes to one class, is generated by the other class, and it goes to the other class. Like, it's a unfair economic system. And politically, right, we can vote, but we'd have no say in the workplace, which is crazy, because that's where people spend most of their lives, is at the workplace. So it's like most of your life you have no say or choice of what you do. So not really a good system. So let's go back to our guiding question. If capitalism keeps breaking, why do we keep fixing it instead of replacing it? Well, I don't think we keep fixing it. I think the people that it works for, the employer class, it's definitely in their best interest to keep this system going and running.
They don't want it to stop.
And they want it to run as much as possible. And I think they know that it's collapsing, so they're sort of moving really desperate, which could explain a lot of world events right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, people do want to replace it, but I think understanding that there is other options and other alternatives is the first step to actually getting this system replaced and getting a better system implemented. So the education piece.
Like what you were saying, the people that it's benefiting, it's like they're holding on to the last little marbles that they do have, because it's that greed. It's that greed mindset in this capitalist way that we're living over here. They don't want to just have everybody be equal. They want that gap, wealthy, poor.
Yeah. And then they put other little hierarchies in between to sort of separate themselves, insulate themselves, and, have people, fighting for crumbs at the bottom, essentially like, oh, you're a supervisor, you're a worker. Like, no, we're all employees and we're all slaves. Yeah. Which brings us to our final quote. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. And that's by Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto.
Yep.
So, appreciate you tuning in to Book Club.
Thank you, guys.
Turning pages, sparking conversations.
I hope you guys enjoyed the book. Leave us a comment or something. Let us know your takeaways from the book, if you liked it, or any suggestions on what book that you want us to cover next. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Book Club wins.
Yep. Follow us on Instagram.
At book.club8. See ya.